Just when people are most vulnerable, they decide to, let's give them some more rules and regulations to follow. That was a good idea where? Welcome to the Sonic Boomers podcast and YouTube channel. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
And first of all, for those of you who are just listeners to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget that you can watch the Sonic Boomers on YouTube in glorious 4K. And if you're already a viewer on YouTube, we want to thank you for tuning us in. And please be sure to like and subscribe because that helps us to get much better distribution on the show. And we love you for that. So, Maureen, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about yet another thing that's happened in the Catholic Church. This is Bishop Thomas John Paprocki out in Springfield, Illinois, is ticking people off because he came out with a whole new list of regulations for funerals. And it's not sitting well with most of the people, as usual. Now, the whole funeral rite, as we have it in the Catholic tradition, is a three-parter. There's the vigil, which is usually the night before. There's the actual service in the church. It's usually a mass, but it can be just a service. And following prayers at the cemetery site. All three of those constitute the funeral rite, and all three parts are part of the total picture. Now, what's happening in Springfield, Illinois, is that the bishop has come out and said, no church visitations on the day of the funeral.
Now, when we say visitation, we mean what?
We mean that what we would consider the wake, where we usually visit with the body. It's usually done in the funeral home.
Right.
But the viewing, sometimes it's called. And in modern day, it's often a cost-saving thing to go and have the body on display in the church prior to the Mass, and shortening the whole ordeal for the family.
Which to me makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's also cheaper because, let's face it, a funeral home is going to charge you for everything that they do. And if they provide you with a room for you to have your family and friends come and visit and pay tribute to the person that's deceased, they're going to charge you for that.
Right, and that makes dollars and cents.
The bishop said, no church visitation on the day of the funeral. If you need the vigil to be the night before. The next thing that he came out with, if that wasn't enough, is the transfer of the body. That's usually done if the vigil is in the funeral home. There's a time when the body has to go from the funeral home to the church.
Right.
And usually at that point, there's a couple of little prayers maybe said, or maybe a reading at the funeral parlor prior to loading the body into a hearse and taking it to the church. And they're saying, he said that that can be done by the funeral director or by clergy. It doesn't have to have a whole big thing. So that one isn't so bad. Then he's got restrictions on eulogies.
This is going to step on a lot of toes.
It does. And we have that here in New Jersey as well. They don't really want a eulogy at a Mass. They said that's not the place for it, but sometimes it's done. Well, the thing is, out in Springfield, Illinois, not only are they putting restrictions, they want the eulogy submitted in writing 3 days before the liturgy takes place. And they want the eulogy delivered by the priest or the deacon only, not a family member.
That is so wrong. You and I have been to funeral masses where there was a eulogy, but it was delivered by the priest. And in some cases, it just seemed very impersonal. It was almost as if the priest was given a few bullet points and just kind of looked at the bullet points and winged it. And yet it seemed to us very obvious that the priest didn't even know the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it just rings as so insincere and so phony. And I'm sorry, clergy, You don't get to edit eulogy. You've got no business doing the eulogy, editing it, requiring it to be approved. And you certainly have no business reading that eulogy, delivering that eulogy if the family wants to have one of their members deliver it, because you will not find a more heartfelt eulogy. And I get it. Family members are delivering eulogy and they get very emotional. They cry, they break down, they pause. And I think some of these priests get a little impatient. They got to be out on the golf course and they, let's move this on. Okay. And it's just not right. It's just not right. If somebody is delivering the eulogy and they're emotional, believe me, there's a lot of people in the seats that are feeling the same emotion.
Of course.
It's a shared experience.
Of
It's a
course.
shared sorrow. So stop this nonsense.
There's one caveat that I would say
Okay.
maybe makes a teensy bit of sense, and that is sometimes in the eulogies, people try to get a little bit humorous, and they throw in some things that maybe are kind of inappropriate in a church mass setting. Talking about
Hey, remember the time that we caught the old man in bed with the lady across the street? Oh, wasn't that something?
Dad really liked his Guinness, and
Yeah.
I can understand a little bit of the hesitation, but I think that could be talked about and talked out without having to come down with a hammer on the people and say, well, submitted 3 days in, and 3 days ahead of time in writing. Again, that's prolonging the amount of time of grief of the family. Now, the last section of things that Bishop does not like has to do with cremation. Now, a lot of people think that cremation is forbidden in the Catholic Church.
I thought it was for the longest time.
I thought so too, but in recent years it is not. The only stipulation, generally speaking, is that the remains should remain as one entity. No scattering the ashes or dividing it up. So in that respect, there is a little bit of a thing about it.
But people really don't follow that. We know cases where people were
I know.
cremated and the ashes, or the cremains, as I believe they're technically called, because it's not really ashes, it's bone fragments. It is divided, and some family members get some. Maybe if there's two sisters or a brother or siblings,
Yeah.
they get some, or maybe part of the ashes are distributed, off of a cruise ship,
Yeah.
or from a plane, or in their favorite or in their garden.
Yeah.
And so, Uncle George gets divvied up sometimes.
I know, but that's not what they want.
He's in several places that he really liked.
And the new cremation rules in Springfield, Illinois. I want to specify this as Springfield, Illinois.
Right.
This is not throughout the whole church at this point. Is that if you have a cremation take place, the person has to be interred within 30 days of the funeral rite. So you can have your funeral rite, you can have the whole thing, and then take the ashes with you. But within 30 days, you have to bury them.
You don't get to scatter them.
No, you don't. You're not supposed to scatter them, and you're not supposed to hold on to them even in your home, even if it's in an urn.
You see, and again, I don't like to break it down to dollars and cents, but let's face it, final expenses are really high. And if a family can save some of the financial burden by not burying the ash, because what do they have to open up a standard grave and pay that fee? I mean, they're not going to dig a little hole with a spade in the cemetery and
No, it's a regular grave or a place in a mausoleum. They do that as well with the urns.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It sure is. But they want the remains to be interred in some unreachable place, like either in the ground or in a mausoleum, and not kept in your home. So you can't keep Aunt Toonie on your mantelpiece forever, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a shame because these things, in the long run, really, what difference does it make? And if the family takes comfort from it and they want to do things a certain way, they're not doing anything so egregious.
At the end of the day, doesn't matter. The church is going to want to stand on protocol, on doctrine, on, all of those lovely monolithic things that they like to stand on. But at the end of the day, to the people of God, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. And you're not making it better for these people who are suffering. You're making it worse.
And you're casting people away from the church rather than
Yes.
drawing them in.
Yes.
I always said weddings and funerals are the two optimal times for evangelization to take place.
Right. It's where we either make friends for the church or we lose people
Right.
from the church.
Those two times are highly charged emotional
Yeah.
times, good and bad emotions. And the right treatment at that time can make a world of difference.
Make or break a relationship with people.
This is what is happening in Springfield, Illinois.
But it's not just happening in Springfield, right?
That's the thing. It's like, if that was the one and only place, you'd say, well, that's that bishop.
Yeah.
Let him do what he wants to do. It's not affecting me. It's not affecting my church, my area. But we know, at least at this point, there are 3 other dioceses that have taken similar stances. One is Los Angeles, California, Youngstown, Ohio, and Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm sure there's probably going to be others to follow. Now, they all have little variations on the theme, but these are the main sticking points that they all seem to have embraced in one form or another. What's going on? What's to follow? Where is this going to go?
What's to follow? Here's what is to follow. You are going to find this next thing absolutely outrageous.
Now, this list of funeral things is very new. It's effective July 1st, 2026. But Bishop John Paprocki has been in the news before. Back in 2017, he had a policy in effect to refuse funeral rites to same-sex couples unless the deceased confessed and repented before their death.
I cannot believe that. And yet, on the other hand, I can.
Yeah.
This one really takes my breath away. Bishop Paprocki, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? Do you honestly think that you have the right, that you have the ability to put yourself, to put the church between people and God? You don't get to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can wear all the miters you want and croziers and have all of your finery. I really don't care. But you do not get to control the gates of heaven. I'm sorry. I find this absolutely egregious. Refusing funeral rites to same-sex couples who are entitled to the same love, to the same mercy that we all want from God at the end of our lives. And who the hell is this chooch to stand in the way of that? How dare he? I can't tell you how pissed I am to hear this.
It's terrible. And unfortunately, it's probably more prevalent than we would like to think.
I'm sorry. If that's how you feel, you have no business being in clergy. I'm sorry. This is another one of the many reasons why Maureen and I, many years ago now, walked away from a lifelong relationship with the Roman Catholic Church and became independent Catholics. This is insane. It's inhuman. There's no justification. I'm sorry. There is no justification from this. Bishop Paprocki, you've got no business being in the church. Not saying, just saying.
So that's it for
That's it.
another edition of
the Sonic Boomers. And again, don't forget, like and subscribe. If you want to comment, we don't get enough comments. We really want you to comment. And all that we ask is be nice. If you disagree with us, that's fine. You know, we can agree to disagree agreeably, but be nice about it. But if you agree, of course, we love hearing that. And if you don't agree, that's fine too. But put something down in the comments. But again, that helps us do better in the ratings war, so to speak. So we'll have another show for you next Thursday. Another uplifting show, I hope, because we admit this one was kind of serious. But sometimes you got to say what you got to say. So till the next edition, I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
Goodbye. God bless you. As always, thank you for watching and thank you for listening.